So I'm making chile rellenos, and I have my chiles poblanos toasting right now, and you want them to burn like that on all sides, on every single side, and then you're going to peel that skin off. But for now, this is what we're doing, and I'm cooking the meat. Once that's done, and it's just regular ground meat, cook it like you would taco meat. I'm going to season it, and I'll give you all the spices here in a bit with some cubed diced potatoes. Okay, so this is how burnt you want them, but you want it on all sides. I'm still cooking them or toasting them, and you want to leave the little tails on there because that is what you're going to grab to turn them around. So this one seems to be just about ready. This one still needs some, and it's okay if it gets extra burnt. It doesn't matter because you're going to take off all that burnt skin. And leave that side. The reason that you toast them is to tenderize the chile. Plus this skin right here is what you need to take off, and that skin is a little chewy. You don't want to eat any of that, but it'll cook the chile. So we're gonna make sure that we got it toasted. Like right now it's still hard. Right here, everything that's green is hard. Get that toasted here. Yeah, I'm going to take the tail off of this one in a bit, and then no, probably not, just stand it up here in the corners so the ends can go ahead and toast. Okay, and I'm going to get started on the meat. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and cube a potato. And some people are like, what do you mean by cube? I've been asked that question on the messages. And all it is, I already peeled and washed my potato. And I'm going to cut always get your fingers away from the knife. Cut it in half. And I try to do it as easy as possible. And you're going to cut them probably about as thick as your finger. And then put them on the side, and these are small, so just cut this one in half once, and that's all to it, just little cubes. Make sure your knife is sharp. Now when you scoop something up from the counter from where you're cutting, a lot of people tend to scoop up with the knife this way. Two things. One, you're going to cut yourself. Maybe, hopefully not. Two, you'll make the knife dull from there, so you have to sharpen it more. So always scoop with the back of it so you can scoop up. And I have a bowl over here full of water because I don't want my potatoes to turn black while I'm making the meat. So I'll leave them in there. And that's all to doing a potato. Now, others ask me what I mean by dice, and I'm going to show you how to cut an onion. Now there's so many different ways of cutting potatoes, and everybody has their own way. That's perfect. And the same thing with the onion. Now the onion has a little root area and then the little top area. The roots right here on this side. Just cut the little ends off. And just cut it in half. And I always take the first thick layer of the onion because it tends to be slippery, and I don't want my knife to slip or anything. Okay, now the onions have little lines. I don't know if you could see them right there. That's the lines. You're going to face them towards you. And you're going to start at the end, kind of like at a little angle. Cut in. And I usually put my finger to keep them all in place. And if you want to guide yourself with those lines, you can. You don't have to. And the reason I hold them in place with my finger afterwards is because I'm going to cut them one more time and I want them to see it comes out. I want them to stay in there. Now right here at the end, this, you flip it over, put it flat, and do the same thing. Start cutting it down. Now I'm going to show you only with half. Alright, let's do it. Now I'll just cut all of it. Okay, turn it now with the lines facing away from you, the long ways from where you cut it. And we're going to cut down. And you can make them as small or as big as you want on that cut. Now be careful not to cut yourself. When it gets here to the end, you can lay them down right here and then start cutting. That way you get the same cuts. And now you have little diced little onions. There's so many different ways of cutting the onion too. Some people will cut all the way in and then cut again. This is the easiest way for me. So let me go ahead and add this to the meat because I am making the meat for the pico de gallo. I'm not picadillo, not pico de gallo, for the picadillo. Okay, I'm making a simple picadillo. Right now I got 3 pounds of meat in this pot. And the reason I'm making so much is because I'm going to make the picadillo for the chile relleno, and then whatever's left I'm going to make papas caldudas or papas with carne picada on here. And it's basically the same thing that I use for my chile relleno. It's right now I just have some ground beef, some diced onion, and then I'm going to cube up some potatoes. Once the onion gets translucent, I'm going to add the potatoes to it, cook it for a little bit, and then I will add the spices to it. So for now, I'm just cooking the onion. The meat's already cooked. I cooked it earlier, a little while ago. Drained out the fat, rinsed it. I like rinsing my meat, that's why you see it so white. I take out all the fat from it. I rinse it. And now I have half an onion in here right now. It is half an onion to 3 pounds of meat. Okay, so the onion's already cooked. So to this, I'm going to add the potatoes. And you can add as many potatoes you like. It depends on how you like how much potato you like in there. You might like a little bit, you might like a lot. So I'm going to add a lot to it on mine. Just give it a mix here. Since I drained it from all the fat and I rinsed it with hot water, there's no fat in here, so I added just a tad of the oil, just a little bit, not much, just so the potato won't stick to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to let this cook just a little bit. Now just to show you the chiles, for the chile relleno, it's all toasty all over. And I'm going to show you in a bit how to clean this up. I'm just letting them cool off right now. Now what you do, you can either leave them resting there for a little while, or you can put them in a brown bag or in a Ziploc bag and let them steam up so you can get that skin off faster. Okay, to this I'm going to add maybe about an ounce. I'm going to add more later, but for now I'm only going to add an ounce of tomato sauce. And 1 tablespoon of the nor pollo, which is the chicken bouillon. And 1 tablespoon of the ground cumin. And 1 tablespoon of your ground garlic powder. Now don't add more than that, because you can always add more. Taste it first to see if you like it. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. Let's see here. I added 2 cups of water. And all I want is for this to cook and tenderize the potatoes, because that's all the meat's already cooked, so that way the spices will get in there when it starts boiling. And it doesn't have much water, as you can see, because right now I'm just doing it just for the Chile rellenos, and then later on I'll add the more stuff to more water to it and more tomato sauce. Put some in my hand, see if it's good enough of flavor. I'm going to add a little bit more flavor to this. I'm going to add another. You got to see I have a lot of meat in here. I said 3 pounds, but actually I think it was a little bit more than 3 pounds. I'm going to add another ounce of tomato sauce and give this a mix. Okay, looking better now. It's a little too pale for me. Now the reason I'm not putting too much of the water on here is because in the chile relleno you need it to be dry. So for now this is all I need. Make sure you mix it real good. That way you don't get any clumps of any of the spices you just put in. Okay, I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to give it a taste first. I'm not even going to taste the meat because the potato's raw. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to cover this, let it steam up because the potato will cook faster. And that way I can get rid of some of those juices. Okay, so now we're going to start with the chiles. And you want to get a few because I know I end up tearing them up. And the first thing I'm going to do is this little tail, I'm going to cut it out. Make sure your knife is sharp. Careful not to cut yourself. You just want to cut that out. And be gentle with it because and then you're going to tear it up. Okay, and this is what you're going to get rid of. Take a look in there. Just taking out any little seeds that are in there because I don't want them. But I'm being gentle because this chile is real tender. So any little thing will cause it to tear. And all you're doing is taking off all the burnt skin from it. And be gentle with it. See, just taking off all this right here. And if it tears, that's fine. I'm going to put it together with toothpicks anyway. Okay, let me go ahead and put you in a pause. Come back when all of this is peeled. And then I'll show you how to fill them up. And how to coat them and everything. Okay, I'm on my last one here. And it's easier if you put it in your hand and just peel it and then cut off the tail, because it gets real tender when you take that little tail off. And they tend to tear more. And they're going to tear even like this too, but not as much. Just pull it off gently. This just takes about a minute to get it done. So the juice is coming out from the chile. That means I poked a little hole there. Okay, that's what you're looking for. To look like this. And then, missed a few pieces here. I'm going to tug a little bit on that tail here. And make sure your knife is sharp, because you don't want to abuse the chile. You got to be real gentle with it. Yeah, because as soon as you start cutting into it, it starts tearing apart. Tore a little bit there, but it doesn't matter, because I'm only going to fill the bottom and then I'm going to put the toothpicks on it. And that's all to it. Okay, so the meat's done and I have it dry. What it looks like right here, dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and put cheese inside there as well. To make it easier myself, instead of putting the shredded cheese in it, it takes a little bit longer, a little bit harder. And this is the Monterey cheese, store brand. You can buy any cheese you like. This is what I'm going to put on mine. And you don't want it too thick, because you don't want to overpower the flavor. Okay, and then these, I'm going to cut them in half, and I'll put 2 strips per each chile relleno. I'm going to put this aside. Now what I already have here, some flour, just about a cup or 2 of flour. You don't need that much. I just tossed it in there. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, not much, just to give it a little bit of flavor. In here, I'm going to go ahead and make the egg whites. Didn't have the eggs over here. And what you do, you're going to separate your eggs from the whites. And this one's already breaking, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss it. I like just putting it in between my fingers. I'm not saving the yellow yolk. I don't need it. I'm not making anything that would need the yolk. Okay. Let me just rinse my hands real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do to the egg whites, I'm going to go ahead and mix it with my hand mixer. And you want it to get a stiff peak on there. And after it does get that stiff, I'm gonna I'm gonna add 1/3 teaspoon of the cream of tartar, and that'll keep them firm. Okay, so that's all to it. See, I'm already doubling in size and a little foamy. At this time, this is when I'm going to add that 1/3 teaspoon of that cream of tartar. Make sure that you have your pan ready with some oil, because you're gonna once you dip them in here, in the flour and in here, you're gonna go ahead and fry it right away. They're still a little soft on the peaks. You want to get it to where it stays up, and that's when it's ready. Get a spatula real quick. Okay, so this is ready. I'm going to just give it one more, because I got to scoop up the sides. Let me mix it one more time. you know if it's ready, you're going to actually just flip it upside down. It doesn't fall. And that's what you're looking for. Okay? So what you're going to do now is get your chile and be gentle with it, because they will tear. You know what? Let me get some toothpicks real quick. Okay. Just be gentle. Careful with that cheese, because that cheese will tear it up. Okay, there's one of the cheeses. Here's the other cheese. Okay. And then you just want to stuff it gently. And if it tears, that's fine. You can overlap it with another one, which I might end up doing, not sure yet. Okay. And I'm just gonna lay it in here in the flour. Go ahead and just kind of like tuck it in, overlap it, run a toothpick across it, and another one on top. Might need another one here. It's going to tear up on me. Okay. And then the first thing you do is go ahead and dip it in the flour. This will help the egg white stick to it. I'm going to make sure that pan is ready. And go ahead and shake it off a little bit. Make sure you get the every little piece you can. And then into your egg white. You just kind of have to pat it in there together. Okay, I'm going to leave it there real quick, so I'm going to take you over so you can see. I'm not sure if you were able to see before that. I hadn't noticed. And all I did was stuff, just in case you didn't see, I stuffed the chile with some cheese and some picadillo. Then I dipped it in the flour all around. Make sure I had toothpicks. And now I dipped it in here. I'm going to take you over to the pan. Okay, so the pan's ready. I'm just covering it up for making sure it all has the egg white on it. And you can always add egg white to the one that's facing up, so make sure the bottom has the egg white on it. And gently put it in there. And I'm going to add some egg white to this side over here. Careful not to burn yourself when you're doing this. And I have it on a medium heat. and go ahead and let it toast. And what I do, I like throwing a little bit of the oil on top. Kind of like to make it easier for me when I flip it over and it doesn't all fall off. It's already a little cooked. Popping because I had water in my hand. Now if you have the heat too high, what's going to happen, this will brown real quick. You want to make sure that the egg white cooks. And the egg white will expand. Oh, I just chunked it off. You know what, before let me add a little bit, add it back to it, see if I can. Okay, flip it over slowly. And I'm just throwing some oil on the sides. Make sure it cooks off. I don't want to handle this too much because I don't want to tear it up. I don't want to break the egg white off of it like I just did right now. Right before I flipped it. Okay, and I'm going to stand it up on the edge. Just to make sure that egg white on that end cooks. Okay, just have a little paper towel on the plate so you can drain it off a little bit. And here is your chile rellenos. That's all to it. Very easy. Well, if y'all make it, let me know. Post it. That way tell me how you like it. Y'all have a good day.